Well, here we are again. Okay, let's keep going. Alright, I spent my whole life on spiritual quest. I went through so many religions when I was young. I even went through witchcraft. Been visited by aliens once, close. But I was visited by an angel deity for many years, and then I worked to learn how to leave my body, which is starting point is astral projection, then it goes into out-of-body experience, which goes beyond that. Of course, here's something nobody wants to hear either. The silver cord keeps all people to the physical body in this realm until they're spiritually high enough to cut it. I don't care what anybody says or tells you, you're not going to get into the higher realms of God, the higher worlds, until you do, because that cord only goes so far into the astral plane. And if you start traveling there and start getting into the limits of the plane and existence there, you'll learn. But I can't explain it to you now because you wouldn't believe it anyway. So why I say you have to have an out-of-body experience first and start learning how to do that regularly so you can understand what's really going on when you die. Well, the physical body dies and spirit's able to do what it wants in the level that it goes to. But most souls reincarnate and come back here. And people don't want to hear that either. Or then they say, we always keep reincarnating. No, soul moves on when it's ready, and not before. And it doesn't grow on a group consciousness level. We can change things on this planet, but if we ever changed at a consciousness level, the world would have been changed. But if you go back in history, there was races upon races that believe different things that have been taken away or left. I can't prove to you about Atlantis. Only through your own experience could you even learn anything about it. 2 people mentioned it, and now the world accepts it as a specific thing, when it wasn't. There were 9 races here in the beginning. 5 of them left. 4 races stayed. But that's here nor there. We're here now, and we're facing the critical turnaround of the planet. If nothing happens this whole year, does it mean we move spiritually? We didn't move spirit. It means we're in hell and we're staying there. If it changes to the better, we will ascend. Some people ascend to the next level, not ascension. When people go through complete ascension, they become God realized, which very few souls will ever do in thousands of lifetimes. And that's why all these lower realms were created, because it takes time in the physical, what we'd call the word time. So now we're in this place where we're traveling the inner worlds. Is the first and most important thing to learn before you die, because if you die, belief in Superman or God or Jesus, when you die, you're standing there. And if somebody comes to you and takes your hand, is that going to be enough? Is that what you want? To die and take somebody's hand and walk somewhere else? And what are you going to do there? If you're not even ready to unfold enough to understand what soul is capable of becoming, you're not going to grow. If you think we're in a body and relationships and love and compassion is great here, but we don't even live it. Relationships have fallen apart. The children are being abused. Don't even have a family. It's because, okay, let's go to the 10 Commandments, which is the most critical thing ever brought to this planet that nobody ever listened to. The Ark of the Covenant. People don't want to know that they were put in there. And why? Because mankind gave up on it. They couldn't follow 10 laws. Moses created over 560 laws, which supposedly they live by, the Jewish people. But imagine, you can't live by 10, you're going to live by 560? That's a totally ridiculous statement. You can't, not in the physical world. Alright, let's not go into Moses, because he was the greatest black magician ever to live on this planet. He created all the things with power using magic. Alright, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not aware of every other race, but in Atlantis, the gifts that we had were much more elaborate, but we didn't use them to kill. That became something that the aliens brought to this world and created. So, as of Moses, he was a black magician. Everything he did brought the results of people dying. The same as the word angels. Does anybody know any stories about angels? Did they come here and bring light and shine it on everybody? No, angels brought the death in. They brought the diseases. They brought everything that came to this planet. So whether they were gods, aliens, whatever you want to call them, angels, they weren't just love and light beings, and they weren't just waving magic dust over you to be the compassionate being, because nobody on this planet, or very few souls, are even half that. I'm compassionate in a lot of ways, but then I could go out there and step on an ant colony. And what makes anybody think that an ant colony or ants aren't just a totally different race than we are? Because we don't understand them? Because we don't know why? But they live incredible. If you ever watched an ant colony or ant farm or anything, they live for each other, and they give their lives, and they'll still fight, trying to do whatever it is. And it's like, nobody's forcing them, nobody's making them do anything. They can just walk away, but they prefer to be in that. But man in his ignorance and ego is downplaying God, because it doesn't want to know that there's a God, because if there was a real God, they'd be responsible to that. Nobody wants to take on that responsibility themselves, because they rather feel everything they do is right, and they don't want to be accountable to anybody else outside of themselves. That being said, everybody that goes around murdering, abusing, beating up, even drinking it and getting drunk and all those things, it's yourself that's doing it, not the New World Order, not the government, not some aliens, and it's because you want to. And now, to get back to where we are, we're here at a point where the government's being totally twisted and taking away every rights that we have, had, and will have. So, do you think it's time to get involved? No, I'm going to pray, and I'm going to just send magic love dust over the world, and they're all going to be compassionate beings. When? 2012? December 21st? Like 10 days after my birthday? Do you really think something? God's going to shine his ball of light and poof it to spiritual beings? And then we all ascend to this high level of 5th dimension, 6th dimension, why not 12th? There's multiple dimensions that we don't even have a clue about, most people anyway. Why not go to the 25th dimension or 2000th dimension? If you think of this planet Earth as one cell, even a grain of sand on the ocean, under the ocean. What's that? What are you? Just one grain of sand. So planet Earth in a multiple universe, which is in multiple universes, the galaxies are so humongous. How can you say you have a clue of how many races there are out there? So people are living in this little box saying that, oh, we're all going to rise to ascension. I'm a healer. I'm working at a 5th dimension. Oh, you're in 3rd dimension. We're all in the same dimension. We're all in the same world. At least right now. I'm not going to talk about time travel and all those other things right now. The last one, I'll put that in there. But we're at a place you have to learn to do a meditation, get in touch with your true self, your soul, who and what it is, and how it is not connected to the body. Not how it is not. Because when you die, you're not taking this body. You're not taking anything of the body with you. The brain, the heart, all deteriorates and dies in that body. The soul that's radiating within this body that moves it and gives it the truth that the brain doesn't listen to is always there. And that's only a slight reflection of what God is. So when people say, well, God is the trees, that's not true. Because we're still talking about one grain of sand. You're talking about a super gigantic universe that's so humongous the mind cannot conceive of the idea even. And to say God is anything is the biggest illusion that you create for your own self. So don't blame God, don't blame aliens, don't blame the New World Order, blame yourself, because you're sitting there saying stupid things to yourself, and then when somebody else agrees with you, you believe it. If I see a paper fall and I say, well, God turned somebody into a piece of paper, you would believe it, because that's what you just said. But if two people come, oh yeah, God just turned all the people into paper, you would believe it. Why? Because you don't want to look for the truth. You're afraid of the truth. Getting back to why. Responsibility to God. Oh, I'm not responsible. God created this world so we learn the truth of what we are and what we can do. But it won't give us all the abilities because we would destroy its own world, including our own. So, wake up, people. We're running out of time for every soul to wake up. Yeah, I'm friends with all the people out there, the UFO people, the psychics, and what they're saying. Oh, everything's going to be okay, and we're going to go through a rough time. Rough time? We have been always going through a rough time because we're too ignorant to step out of it. As long as man is attached to sex, lust, greed, and those kind of things, how can we move forward? Women are a little bit more separated from that, but man is pulling them deeper and deeper into it because more women are going into the whole sex wave and abusive things than they have never been before. I mean, they always have been abused. Man has always abused women all through history. Never gave a woman the free will to be and do what they want. In other countries, it's 1,000 times worse than the United States. Wake up, people. We're in the United States, the free state, and we're pretty much completely under control. Thank you. That was part 2. Remember where you heard it. Till later.